You're doing everything right, but your pirouettes still fall apart. You're not alone. Most dancers struggle with turns, not because they lack talent, but because they're missing a few key ingredients. And today, we're going to decode it. Welcome to Athletistry Ballet Decoded, where we break down ballet technique like never before. I'm Shane Werthner, a ballet coach with over 30 years in the dance world, blending athleticism with artistry to help you move smarter, train stronger, and dance better. Each week, we'll tackle new technical challenges, whether it's mastering your pirouettes, refining your jumps, or unlocking the secrets of perfect pirouettes. And the best part, I'll give you practical, science-backed drills so that you can actually see progress in your dancing. If you're ready to level up your technique, let's get into it. Most pirouette problems come down to an issue with the 3 P's: your preparation, your push-off, and your positioning. If just one of these is off, your turn is doomed before it even starts. So let's break them down. The preparation, the silent sabotager. Dun, dun, dun. So your turn starts before you even leave the ground. If your plie is uneven, your weight is unbalanced. If your arms aren't in the right position and they're flailing around. If your weight is not in the right place, you're setting yourself up to fail. So think of your preparation like setting up a domino chain. If one piece is off, the whole thing collapses. When it comes to preparation for a basic en dehors pirouette, our pirouettes are going to start from one of 3 positions. 5th position, 2nd position, or 4th position. Our arms are going to be with one arm usually in 1st or 2nd, or in an allongé arabesque. In those positions, we're going to have some weight balance that has to be exactly perfect in order to get the best result. In 5th position, we want even placement between both feet, and we want our legs rotating into our plie to start the preparation. Our arm is going to open a little bit as we increase our plie, and then we're going to get into that push-off. In 2nd position, it's the same thing, making sure our legs are rotating into our plie. Our arms are starting in that nice, strong position, one arm in 1st, one arm in 2nd, opening the arm as we increase the plie, and then pushing off again. And in 4th position, it's the same idea, rotating, making sure that back knee is nicely turned out, not coming forward, making sure that we're not angling that leg forward. The knee is opening up over the toes, and our weight is placed about 60% on the front leg and 40% on the back leg. This has been scientifically proven by dancers who actually tested how much weight they used in the front leg versus the back leg on a scale. So putting about 60% weight on the front leg gives you the best ability to push off and find that balance once you get into the turn. Let's talk about the push off now. Push off is your secret to more power. Now you might think you need more force, but power without control is chaos. Instead of muscling your way into the turn, focus on pressing into the floor, creating resistance through your feet, and then your working leg should snap into retiré. We don't want it to slowly climb up into that position. Speaking of position, your positioning, the 3rd key, is super important. This is a big one. If your retiré is too low, if your core isn't engaged, or if your arms are falling all over the place, boom, down you go. Think of yourself like a spinning top. The tighter, more compact you are, the longer and stronger your turn. So positioning wise, especially when we're doing just a basic pirouette in retiré, we're going to come over to the bar. We're going to talk about this for a second. If we think about our plie, and you can learn more about this in my turnout course, which is linked down below. When we start our plie, we want to rotate into our plie. That rotation is what brings our knees into that bent position. So if I'm going to withdraw my foot up into a retiré, or that withdrawal movement, I'm going to rotate first, and then my knee is going to continue rotating externally as my foot pulls up. Now the muscles that are doing this, the hamstring is pulling the foot up, the hip flexors are lifting the knee, and the deep rotators are externally rotating your knee open, so we have a nice open retiré in our pirouettes. In order to perfect this, you're going to go to the bar, and you're just going to work on that rotation from 5th position, lifting up into the coup de pied, rotating further, contracting that hamstring to lift your foot, contracting your hip flexors to lift your knee, and rotating through the deep rotators, and then lowering back down, maintaining that rotation. Practice that a bit, and then let's jump into a few of the drills that are going to help to perfect your pirouettes. Now that we know the 3 P's that are going to affect your pirouettes, let's make sure that we have them just right. And here are my top 3 drills to unlock better pirouettes almost immediately. Your first drill is going to be your freeze frame balance test. So you're going to go over to your bar, and you're going to take that rotated retiré that we just discovered. you're going to rise up on releve, bringing your arms into a nice strong first position, and you're going to take your hand off the bar and balance for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand back on the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand back on the bar. You're going to do that 10 times. Once you've done that 10 times, you're going to turn around, try the other side. That's the starting point. If you're struggling with 4 seconds, I want you to build up to it. So you're going to start with 1 second, back on. 1 second, back on. If that's not too difficult, go 2 seconds. Once you get that, 3 seconds. Build up to 4 seconds. That's how long we need to stay for one pirouette. And you're challenging yourself to find that as quickly as possible. So I don't want you to just gradually pull your hand off the bar nice and slow. We have to get to that position quickly. Remember, the push-off is about speed and accuracy. So the faster you get into your first position, the more precisely you can do that, the better your turns are going to be. Talking about precision and getting into the position, drill number 2 is the quarter turn press and snap. So you're going to start in a 4th position. You want to make sure that your back knee is nicely rotated. One arm is in first, one arm is in second. You're going to plie and increase the rotation in your legs. So we're not just bending our knees, we're rotating to deepen that plie. As my first position arm opens through allongé to second, and then I'm going to bring my outside arm into first as I come together and then lower my heel down. You can see my head is staying towards the front, and then I'm going to go back and do it again. Opening my arm, quarter turn, heel down. Finding that balance as quickly as possible. If you want to add some challenge, try to stay up on releve for as long as you possibly can. That's going to help you to make sure that you are able to hold that position. So it's almost like you're combining that first freeze frame together with this quarter hold and snap. Okay? Once you've got that, you're going to do that 5 times. Now, if you go into the position and you go like this, and you fall over immediately, you got to go back to the beginning. So let's say you do 4, and the 4th one, you go falling over, back to the beginning, start at 1. Do it until you can get 5, where you can go up, heel down, find your balance, and then repeat. That's the key, is to make sure that you're training yourself to stay, not to fall. Our last drill is our spotting drill. Now, this is really important because strengthening your spotting technique will help you to avoid dizziness and improve control. So what you're going to do is start facing the mirror. You're going to put your hands on your shoulders like this. You're going to turn until your chin is in line with your hand. And you're going to spot back around, try to get your hand and chin together here, and then come back to the front. You're going to do that 10 times to each side. Once that's super easy, you're going to start to add a little paddle movement. So in this paddle movement, you take your weight onto the back toe like this. You come up, you come down onto the front foot. Learning that paddle movement is going to help you to be able to continuously turn and practice your spotting over and over and over again. You want to get to be able to do 20 turns quite quickly, and then go ahead and do the other side. Odds are, one side is going to be a lot easier to focus. Now, the key is not just about whipping your head around. A good spot comes from focusing your eyes back on the same point every time. The faster you can return that focus, the better you'll hold your balance, and the more likely you are to have strong and excellent pirouettes. Now, before you run off and try these drills, let's make sure that we cover some of the pitfalls that you might run into as you're trying to improve your pirouettes. Number 1, the most common thing that I see in a turn is that the weight is too far forward on the front leg, which allows this back leg to turn in like this. The position is going to be a struggle. You're going to pull your knee into a turned in retiré. Your posture is going to be awful. Everything is going to fall apart. So the number 1 key is to make sure your back knee is nicely turned out, that it's not coming in like this, and you don't have too much weight on your front leg. Number 2, your arm position. When you're starting here, we don't want to overturn the arm because that's going to lead to exactly what we have happening in pitfall number 1 with that back knee turning in. So keeping your arm in this position, you want to think like you're going in an en dehors, an outward position, an outward direction for your preparation. So from this position, as you increase your turnout in that open direction, your arm is going to increase in that same direction, opening out. And then from there, you're going to bring your outside arm together to the first. This arm is not coming back across because that's going to be creating energy in the opposite direction of where you want to go. So the key is to make sure that as this arm opens, it stays there and you snap to that position as quickly as possible, creating a strong first position. Now, run over to your bar, guys. Put your hands onto your bar and press down. What you're going to feel is that connection through your lats. The lats are part of the core. And so if you're only thinking about your abdominals and not thinking about your back, you're missing one of the most important parts of your turn. Your turn is 360 degrees. It's not just to the front, it's also to the back. So that strength that you have through your arms at the front of your body, you want to connect that same circle through your back, imagining that you're all the way around in that position. Pitfall number 3 is losing your back, losing your arms as you're turning and allowing that spot to go off in all kinds of crazy directions. So the more precise you are with your position, the more precise you are with your arms, more precise you are with your spot, the better your turns will be. Now, I know you guys are waiting to go out and try those drills and get your pirouettes perfected and fully decoded, but I want to offer you a little bonus exercise that I think will help you tremendously to troubleshoot your pirouettes when things just aren't going right. So if everything is falling apart, you don't know what to do, you don't know what's happening, why it's not working, you're going to take it back to this exercise. You're going to do this exercise again 5 times on each side with the same principles as before. If you get to a point where you fall over, you have to start back at number 1 until you can get it clearly 5 times as precise as possible. So the exercise is this. You start in 5th position. 5, 6, 7, 8. Releve 1, 2, open 3, 4, plie 5, 6, pirouette, heel down, find your balance, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lift 7, 8. You do the same thing again, 5 times on that side. A little bit of a hop here and there, not a problem. What is a problem is if you get into that turn and you put your foot down halfway through the turn because you're training yourself to fail. What you want to do is stay in that position for as long as possible. Reassess, oh, I was falling this way. I'm going to pull myself back up. I'm going to hold that position. Really make sure that my hamstring is engaged to lift my foot. My hip flexor is engaged to lift my knee. My rotators are pulling my knee open. And then I'm going to increase into my plie and do it again. 5 times, as precise as possible, not falling. If you fall, you go back to 1. Get into it, guys. Practice this. All right, now it's your turn. I want you to try these drills. I want you to film your progress and tag me at Athletistry so I can see your improvement. If you found this helpful, hit the like and subscribe button because next week we're tackling the #1 mistake holding back your jumps and you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to fix this as soon as possible.